Speaking of hip hop, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification. Let's go, let's go, let's go. By the way, my name is Versatile, aka the Alkebulan. Trust, give me a second. The name you can trust when it comes to all things reactions. And right now, hold up. Right now, I'm going to react to how Drake crashed out over Kendrick and his album Flop on Tour. Yeah? So let's straight away, no delay. Let's go. Get me.
Now, when it comes to Drake, it seems like with every week that has been passing, everything is just getting much worse for him. And initially, while the Grammys and the Super Bowl was humiliating enough, now with Drake finally getting back to the music with SSS for You, and with this record putting up all-time low numbers, as this record has had such low streams that it is going to be the first Drake album in the entire streaming era to not have anywhere near a #1 song. Overall, what Drake is now realizing is that beyond Kendrick winning and pushing forward everything that he has been since their beef, that beyond other artists, Drake's actual moves and impact mean little to nothing anymore, and that is because he is at the lowest point he has ever been at as an artist, and seemingly because of this, as Drake is realizing it really may be over. He just lost it, and throughout his most direct diss to Kendrick Lamar that we have seen in quite some time while on his current tour. Now, before we get any further into what Drake did this time, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And really, in this
the thing is, yeah, like, I'm not being funny. Drake, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Yeah. I'm not being funny. I'll say this again, yeah. He genuinely needs therapy, but he also needs, if things are, anyway, I won't say anything else. From what I've seen, just get me. From what I've seen, yeah. Yeah, get me. Like I said, I let God handle everything that I, especially beyond my control in it. I don't wish down bad on anybody. I wish everyone to have success. I wish everyone to win, but obviously you can't. Not everyone can win. Yeah, but like I want people to understand that I don't wish down or bad on Drake or whatever. If someone has done something morally wrong, ethically wrong, and it's just the plain wronging, do you know what I mean? Then they are gonna get the inevitable, right? Um, they're gonna pay for those consequences of those actions they took. You understand? And obviously, like, I'm no one to judge or anything like that. So this, oh, I knew there was something else I forgot to react to. Oh, we'll get into that. Maybe I don't even know.
this time where Drake is doing so bad, his fans are still going at everyone because they can't accept their favorite artist is washed. So please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is more needed than ever and helps me out a ton. And so now with Drake, despite the fact that on some level at least Drake has learned that he is never gonna diss Kendrick Lamar directly again because that has ruined him like we have never seen somebody get ruined before, of course, Drake is still trying to find the most pathetic and subtle ways to send disses Kendrick's way for some reason. And while on SSS for You, from lyrics making fun of the fact that with Kendrick in charge of the rap genre as a whole, dancers need dictionaries, to him referencing Not Like Us by name, Drake thought he did something against him here. Clearly, as those
that line or that bar makes him look what 10 times worse. That makes you look like one is exactly. In fact, it proves Kendrick Lamar's right in regards to the Euphoria line, where in Euphoria he mentions, he goes, "I make music to electrify him. You make music to pacify him." I could double down on that line, but I will spare you this time. That's random acts of kindness. Now, you know what I'm saying? So he warned him. All right, cool. Watch this there. I'm not like, maybe it's me and the era that I grew up in, and maybe it's because if I feel like if you like one particular MC and you like it, you're gonna eventually like certain type of MCs. You saw I just reacted to J. Cole's Clouds, right? I reacted to that. So if you think about how I reacted to that and the way I was rewinding that on several occasions, and I'm trying to make sure I don't miss out on anything as well. That's another thing. It's like, and I'm letting you know that it's the last part, the last verse is that verse. That should let you know. Me personally, I respect lyricism. Don't get it twisted. There are some songs out there where it doesn't justify having multiple lyricism and for you to it's magic because some people think you have to always think and this, but you don't necessarily. You can make a good tune with like being a lyricist. You know what I mean? Like even the hook could be a double entendre or a triple entendre. You may not be aware of it if you're not clued up, and then you know what I mean? Like because think about it, Not Like Us is such a simple like Not Like Us, that song, but also the hook. In general, the hook has several meanings. I've seen some people take it out of context, but when I know if you understand what it means, it can actually relate to other things, basically. But anyway, let's go.
Those lyrics didn't work and just made Drake look like more of a joke, as everyone who heard these lines just laughed at him even more. Where Drake is now at the point where everything he is saying and doing is getting no motion, he is seemingly becoming more livid, and especially at Kendrick Lamar, and because of this. And the fact that GNX, after months of being released, is already outperforming SSS for You's debut in every single way possible. Overall, Drake really seems to be more angry with Kendrick Lamar than he ever has been, and as a result of this, Drake is now trying to push the line to the furthest place possible where he can diss the current king of hip-hop and have everybody know it, but not actually go far enough to the point where he can get any more backlash or career-ending diss tracks his way from it. And so now with Kendrick taking over every facet of hip-hop and music at this point, and Drake just having to witness his place in all of this reach an absolute all-time.
Some people seem to think if that it's supposed to be a career ending for Drake, it's supposed to be this, it's not that. Like hip hop is hip hop. Hip hop is a sport. Like if you look at sports, right? All right, yeah, there are some sports where they have some things where a team gets relegated, right? But the reality is, yeah, in every competition, I will use. Let me use the English Premier League for a super prime example because I'm going to react to Chelsea Football Club, why I stop supporting them next, right? Anyway, actually no, that will be after, but because I need to react to something else. So it's like when you think about it, it's like, hey yo, think about it. Let's focus on the simple fact that every season they go for the competitions that are available for them to win. You got the Premier League, right? The course of a season, that's 38 games, all right? Then you've got the FA Cup, then you've got the Carabao Cup, and depending if they qualified for either the Champions League or the Europa League or the Europa Conference League, you know what I mean? Depending on the situation, then maybe they have to play in one of those matches, all right? But if you I don't want to say take away those because being a Chelsea fan and why I still support Chelsea, but being a Chelsea fan, just to help you understand, it's like if a Chelsea got knocked out of the FA Cup, right, this season, 2024 to 2025 season, they got knocked out of the Carabao Cup, 2024 to 2025 season. But next year, they can go again. Does it mean that they are poor or rubbish or they've been eliminated? Yes, they've been eliminated from the competition this season, but it doesn't mean next season they can't come back and make a strong comeback and actually win the competition. Now, I'm not saying that Drake could come back next year or this year later and just come and win against Drake. I'm sorry, I'll win against Kendrick, or still got to win against himself clearly. But I'm just saying I'm using football as a prime example because it just makes you realize that it's not about that. You know what I mean? It's not like you're always gonna. You know what I mean? You're always gonna have a turn to compete. You know what I mean? Plus, it's hip hop. It's hip hop culture. His name's gonna get mentioned regardless. You know what I mean? Like he solidified himself, whether people want to call him an industry plant or not. He solidified his name in hip hop, whether I like it or not. You know what I mean? For me personally, I think he's stained his legacy by doing that call, the lawsuit against UMG. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He's stained his legacy. I don't care what nobody says. He's stained his legacy. But does he care? No. Let's keep moving. Let's go. Because he's not like us.
all-time low. I guess after taking so many L's, he has finally publicly lost it in front of everybody about how much he despises Kendrick Lamar, as during one of his recent shows during his Anita Max Win tour, in between all of the cringe antics like the smoking hoodie and whatever tough guy act you want to try and call it when he starts performing energy, Drake's concerts are really starting to look like game shows at this point, as everybody is coming with signs asking him for something, which in of itself is starting to get very strange, but that's a whole conversation for another day. There was a remaining fan of
Hey, yo,
Drake's in the crowd
you could do it
not
like that.
asking him for something, but actually was validating his loser's mentality by dissing Kendrick Lamar right in front of his face with a sign that said, "Kendrick is a..." Now, when Drake was staring in the crowd and this fan was holding the sign up, Drake looked around the crowd, seemingly saw the sign calling out Kendrick, and then did a double take to really see if he was finally being validated, and then after looking at the sign and taking it all in, Drake commented on it for the entire arena to hear and said that's facts. And I mean, with this little but very loud moment, I mean, this is just straight up comedy, because while Drake has seemingly been waiting for a moment now to say something like this about Kendrick publicly, he also tried to say it quickly, which once again is showing how he's trying to get the closest he can to dissing Kendrick ever is left of his career without ever actually crossing any sort of line again. But now in the grander picture, when it comes to moves like this from Drake, while he's able to even have a moment like this with his remaining fans on the other side of the world because people out there still support him, which in of itself is largely because they were never rap or hip hop fans and were always just Drake fans, which also just speaks to the larger way Drake distorted hip hop culture and why this.
No, see, again, and this is, I want to say this here, and I'm not saying I defend Drake, but I will say this. The reason why Drake is able to have fans overseas is because, you know what I mean, he's able to cater to a certain demographic. That's what it comes down to. And if you've got that certain demographic on, you're you're able to, because you think about it, his music has been on radio, been on shows, and been on, you know what I mean, like been on adverts. People are naturally going to hear it around the world. The same way, like some people, like some be like, oh, see, he sold out the Wireless Festival. Nah, all 3 days. Nah. I want to see, first of all, I want to see the full facts. Show me it's been sold out, because I believe that's a lie. I don't care what nobody says until I see evidence in front of my own two eyes and be like, oh, it's sold out. Fair enough. But how can you say the way that it is as well when it comes to festivals? The fact that it's in a park, it's like, to me, relax. Do you know what I mean? Relax. The way that people can jump over fences, this, that, and the third, nah, relax. You're trying to make him seem like he still got it. Nah, because they use Vibes Cartel's name to promote and market. You know what I mean? Because let's be real, Vibes Cartel should have never been a special guest. He is the type of guy that should be a headline act. You understand? He should be a headline act. I don't care. Yeah? He should be a headline act. Hey, let's keep moving. Let's go.
This beef between him and Kendrick needed to happen in the first place because of the current landscape of music. What Drake is now realizing just from seeing his album crumble so early into its release, and at that, like us and GNX, that when it comes to the US, which is of course the home of hip hop and all of its major places, Drake is never going to get the respect he once did here because every corner of the most pivotal places in rap have been fully put on Team Kendrick, which, I mean, if you don't believe me, just look at the charts where Luther and Not Like Us are overtaking every new Drake record, and even way older Kendrick songs have more motion than the new stuff Drake is doing. And beyond just Kendrick Lamar, in addition to him, as the rap charts are also being ran by people like Tyler the Creator and Doechii, compared to the landscape that allowed Drake to get away with the antics he was always used to, the culture really has been shifting right before our eyes, and we are seeing multiple artists rise to new peaks directly off the moment Kendrick has opened up in terms of how rap is being seen by more people than it ever has. And really, when Kendrick Lamar goes,
as much as I want to get it to Kendrick for that, I would Kendrick situation with Drake. Because remember, there was a time, and I believe it was I don't know what year, 2023. I think there was a time where rap was not charting. Basically, I think in the US it just wasn't charting. And the thing is, I feel like some people just got to the point where they're oversaturated, that there's certain sounds are oversaturated, and it's like they're tired of it. You know what I mean? As much as they want to go online and say it sounds good or what the case may be, the reality is, you know what I mean? If you're not buying the music or streaming the music, but let's just say buying, because the reality is, if the industry was to go back to buying physical copies, I reckon we'll really see who's really at the top. You know what I mean? Because if they're trying to say 250, or how does it work? 120,000 streams or plays equals to one sell. How you work that out? How? You understand? This ain't to discredit Kendrick. Don't ever get that twisted, because again, I'm seeing the influence. Get me? You can't rig the game. You try to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense. People are streaming, people are playing a little lot. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like me myself, me myself. You know how many times I play Kendrick's music? I try to hold myself back from playing it a lot still. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep it moving. Um, let's go.
national tour and we see him push live hip-hop performances to a new level? Between Drake making so much of his tour about moments like these to all of the other cringe antics about how he is responding to the Kendrick Lamar beef as a whole, I don't want to hear anything from Drake fans about how Kendrick is still performing records like Not Like Us and Euphoria, because after the Super Bowl especially, we have seen that both of those records have become way bigger moments than a rap beef could ever represent. And also, as Drake is still trying to drag these records and change their perception with his pathetic paperwork, really, in a way, this back and forth is still going on in just a different way. And so now when it comes to Drake realizing with little moments like these that he is better off running away from Kendrick Lamar and every major hip-hop region here as a whole, which based on the reception of his new album, which has been terrible, and Not Like Us reaching #1 there after the Super Bowl may even include the 6th at this point, we should expect Drake to only continue to stay as far away from the renaissance that is starting to emerge in rap music here, as even he's realizing that it's really over for him and everything he used to get away with. And really just putting into perspective where Drake's spiral is leading him to this point, which really just going from the energy of this beef to literally running away from it all is just so real in of itself. Specifically, what we are seeing that is more telling than anything is the fact that Drake is headlining Wireless Festival during all 3 of its nights, which once...
See, I knew he had to mention this at some point. And I mention this earlier. I said it, and see, look, yeah. And you see how early in the stream I was mentioning about Jay and me, and I've got no respect for him. And cool, whatever, he may not know me, I don't care. But like, you know what I mean? That was so mad. Why did I say it like that? Like, I don't care. But if you're trying to show up and say you're part of the man, then that let me know how you don't respect yourself. You let someone belittle you in your own country. All right, Fairs, technically he's Nigerian, you know what I mean? But like, at the same time, you let someone disrespect you in your own country, yeah, and you're saying he's a headliner and you're a special guest. How many times have you been a special guest when he's, you know what I mean? Like, allow it, man. Allow it. It's different if Drake is the headline for one day, like Drake playing up there, Summer Walker. See, look, that's a different situation, right? That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Although Summer Walker should be a headline as well. But all right, cool. That's fine. I think so. And then you got Drake, special guest, Burna Boy and Vybz Cartel. Burna Boy shouldn't be a special guest either. Like, Burna Boy should not be a special guest. I don't care. North with Vybz Cartel, especially Vybz Cartel. People want to go see Vybz Cartel. I don't care what nobody says. People want to go and see Vybz Cartel. They want to see him. That's why that sold out. Especially for that day, they want to see Burna Boy, they want to see Vybz Cartel. They don't necessarily want to see Drake. Drake is just, all right, cool, whatever. Yeah? If it really just sell out, then it's because of vibes. Yeah? The man, them, all right, cool. I would say, all right, cool. You can kind of get away with it if it sells out. Be like, yeah, it's because of me. Yeah, but then Summer Walker. Most people want to see Summer Walker because look at when it's in the summer, like in July. You know what I mean? So it's like they wanna cruise in the name summer. They want that summer vibe, even though she does R&B and that. Like they want that vibe in the summer, and she got bangers as well. So hear what I'm saying. The reality is this. It kind of I'm still kind of I still don't understand it. Why would they make him a headline from 3 nights? 3 nights. Furthermore, he's been headline for Wireless Festival on what? Excuse me. On many different occasions within 20 years of this existence of this festival. Why is he the headline for 3 times? Listen, I've just seen. Wow, I just seen something. Anyway,
Once again, is really showing that running away is becoming the new norm for Drake and that he is going to continue to hide out and, let's face it, perform and be a part of lower stakes events than he ever has. Because even with Drake performing at a music festival 3 nights in a row, when you understand the context behind this, this is another admission of Drake realizing he is done and that his career will never be the same. Because for the longest time possible, Drake was turning down and was completely against the idea of doing music festivals as he felt he was bigger than them as a whole, no matter which one we were talking about. And so again, seeing how Drake turned down Rolling Loud multiple times, who did actually create the idea of him playing all 3 nights in a row in the first place, and seeing him now rush to do an event like this, is just showing how desperate he is to try and create moments where his career seems like it will be in a better place than we all currently see. But really, with Drake this Wireless Fest specifically, as we are currently see Drake go on a petty tour as well, where he is trying to get back at the people who dissed him or who he believes in some shape or
no, Joe, I'm gonna call it a crying tour, bro.
Way of getting Rolling Loud, as he did take their original idea of him doing 3 nights with 3 different set lists in a row, and is using it for one of their competitors here. And now the reason why Drake would be doing this against them is because if we remember, Future and Metro did hint at what was coming there when they previewed like that on stage, which Travis Scott was also there and super excited about. And I mean, with all of this, as we are now at the point where Kendrick Lamar has managed to not just win the culture over and show that he is the best hip-hop artist, but that he is also running the charts and pushing hip-hop to new levels, which we are seeing as the hype builds up for his Grand National Tour. And of course, at the same time, Drake is pretty much in hiding, where he is trying to win back fans, but also be super petty to all the people who dissed him, which we are seeing is this entire tour he is currently on is really a response to everything that Kendrick Lamar has done and how that's affected his career in the places where he has built it the most. Overall, with us now seeing the aftermath of the beef these two have had with albums, tours, and numbers, and one is clearly winning all 3 of these categories and the other is not just losing, but it's not even close, right now we are starting to truly see the full impact of rap's biggest beef. And as Drake is reinventing just how much a can lose, he's got to get out of here with these little disses that just make him look worse. And going forward,
hey yo, man said, man's reinventing on different ways you could lose. Listen, rude.
Kendrick Lamar really doesn't even need to say a single thing to him again, with Drake still trying to continue this beef in so many ways. As really these disses and moments are just Drake crashing out over the fact that he has lost it. There is no way around it. And I'm sure if it was up to him, he still would want to get attention from Kendrick Lamar because that does a lot more for him than his own music will. All in all, as this entire loser's lap that he is taking is seemingly going to continue for quite some time, and no matter what happens, Drake is not going to change his ways. Just get ready to see him do more and more of this, and as a result, ruin more of his legacy and reputation in the process. And so now with all this said, let me know. What do you think of Drake's latest move to try and discredit Kendrick Lamar? Do you think this is amongst his worst? And going forward, what do you think about Drake running as far away from Kendrick and everything going on near him as a whole? And do you think in the end of this, him going this far and trying to get back fans in these other places will help him? Or do you think it's going to work against him in the long run? I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all of this, and if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and it has never been more needed because these Drake fans are angry and don't want anyone to know what's actually going on with him and hip-hop as a whole for that matter. And now, if you want to see how in this time, one of the reasons Drake is so mad at Kendrick Lamar is because those first week numbers for SSS for You are not looking good, and if anything, They're looking pretty terrible and are the biggest indicator that everything is over, which is why Drake is still really getting more angry at Kendrick Lamar at this point as a whole. Check out the suggested video.
Alright, shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop. For real, for real. Let's see what people are quickly saying in the comments. Let's see. Alright. Once the lame, always the lame. You think Kendrick hates Drake? Well, let me introduce you to a YouTuber who goes by the name Fantastic Hip Hop. Hey, yo, for real, I don't think he hates him. I think he despises him. No, I'm playing. Now, when it comes to Drake, I mean, all right. So let me get this straight. The short king from Compton with Moses still said Drake's name publicly while staring at the camera. Meanwhile, Aubrey still won't say Kendrick's name. His fans will, but not him. But Drake's the real tough one. Drake fans are tougher than him. Actually, the famous actor artist, no, it's actor. The famous actor who once knew he'd look paranoid and not spiraling. Get me? I can. Hold on. Drake doing wireless festival 3 nights. No, forget that. Put this way. That he truly is making Kendrick's lyrics age very well. You know what I mean? Like very well. He's spiraling. You know what I mean? It's like what at some point, yeah. At some point, you just have to be like, you know what? It is what it is. Just like he doesn't need to do all this stuff, or does he? It's like man's 40, bruv. Anyway, let's react to